This road right here is leading to Bruce Levine. We're lounging with him, presented by Steinhoffels. Even if he's injured, he's always ready to compete. Now, the question, Bruce, remains, will the Cubs be able to compete as far as the division is concerned? You see where they're sitting right now as far as the wild card goes, but catching the Milwaukee Brewers, is that a real thing?
Well, first of all, the only injury I have is when you hurt my feelings.
Oh, come on, Bruce. You don't
which
have
happens
feelings.
a lot.
Bruce doesn't
Probably
have feelings.
about everything. Can they catch the Milwaukee Brewers? Let's take a look at the Brewers first. Are they catchable by anybody? You just pointed out to being one of the best records in the National League. Since the end of April, they haven't had any streaks longer than three-game losing streaks, okay? That's tough. I mean, they can do it again today. The Pirates can beat them today, 3 in a row. So the Cubs have to kind of ignore that, but can they catch them? Ryan, I'm not quite sure they can, but the Cubs can still have one of the best records in the league, approach 90 wins, and not catch Milwaukee.
I'm not sure if they can, but I think as a player, you have to think that you can.
Absolutely.
Right? I think it's one of those things where, look, like you said, Bruce, they have the opportunity to be swept by the Pirates today. Cubs win today. You're only 5 back going into the All-Star break. You see here you have 7 games remaining versus the Brewers. Got to go at least probably 5-2 against them. I think you make a good point, though. I mean, the Brewers just don't. They're not going to have a 10 or an 8-game losing streak like the Cubs did earlier on in the year.
You can't count on it.
No.
They could have it.
Yeah.
But what they have to do is they just have to continue to play the good ball that they are right now. And, you know, again, when we saw coming into this segment, Counsell talked about different roles. At the end, he was subtly saying, does Cabrera come back? Does Taillon come back as bullpen pieces? Okay. Do they start to get out-getters in different ways from them, not necessarily as starters? So the reinforcements can be used in different ways, and nobody has done it better than Counsell.
And Bruce, the one thing that everyone always says is that you can't win if you don't have slug. If you don't hit the ball out of the ballpark, it's going to be hard to sustain a victorious path. And all we've seen from the Milwaukee Brewers, even though they're a bottom third and almost in the bottom third of the bottom third in slug, but all they do is continue to win baseball games. How does that happen?
Well, they have the 5 runs a game. That's the magic number in baseball. If you can average 5 runs a game, that's 800 runs on the year. That's what the Cubs did last year, and that's why they won 92 games. One of the reasons, obviously, you have other components of the team, the defense, the pitching, the offense. But in reality here, I think catching Milwaukee, as Ryan said, should be on your mind because you should think about being excellent, but going out there competing like they do, getting guys like Bregman yesterday, Happ yesterday, get back to form of driving in runs, being a part of the winning every day.
Okay, right now it's a 6-game differential between Milwaukee and the Chicago Cubs. But Sweeney Dog, if the Brewers, they go out there and get swept today by the Buccos, and the Cubs, they win this one, that means it's now down to 5 games. You have 4 days off, and then the back half, it's a sprint to the finish line. 5 games? That's not an insurmountable lead.
No, and I think the thing to look at, too, is we give credit to the Cubs for where they're at with what they've had to deal with, right?
Sure.
I mean, I don't know, Bruce, what do you think? If the Brewers had the catastrophic injuries and 4 of their 5 starters went down, would they be in the same spot that they were in right now? Probably not. So you have to give the kudos to the Cubs for hanging out where they are. I don't want to say you want anybody to get hurt, but maybe like a couple of the Brewers starters get a blister or something or out for a month and get a little even playing field here.
Well, Jacob Mizorowski missing this start today.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I think the underrated value comes from the front office here. They have gone out, first of all, they started the year with 8 guys that could starting pitchers. Now you see all those injuries and how it's impacted them. But those guys were all part of the element of, Ben Brown was the best pitcher in the National League for at least 5 weeks, right? So, and Palencia, the closer, you've been going out without a closer. The Cubs have the fewest saves in baseball right now, right there tied with like 4.
And then freak accident, Hobie Milner gets appendicitis and has to drive himself to the hospital.
Well, and you've had a few guys that have gone on the IL multiple times. I mean, Palencia,
But the resiliency and the leadership, both the front office and Counsell and his coaches, are huge here because they refuse to allow these guys to feel sorry for themselves. Counsell refuses to say, well, when we get this guy back and that guy back, we're going to be fine. He doesn't think that way. He doesn't think about guys that can't performing down the line. Thinks about the here and now, and they They do it as well as anybody in baseball.
And where the Cubs are currently at, does that give more reason for the front office to potentially go out there and get another starter and maybe a bullpen arm / closer?
That should always be the mentality.
Absolutely.
Chicago Cubs,
Sure.
okay?
And when you look, and there's only 4 teams in Major League Baseball that have better records right now, when you consider that this team has been injury-riddled all season long, Bruce.
It's one of the more veteran teams in baseball. It's built to win. They're not going to stop now.
Okay.
I think you have to look at, too, real quick. You know, you have a lot of guys hurt, but that gives, we've talked about opportunities for other guys.
True.
I mean, you're getting the opportunity now to see Thornton in the back end of that bullpen. I mean, he could potentially be your closer. I know Craig said there hasn't been any roles, but he could be your closer because he obviously doesn't shy away from the moment, and he loves going out there and feeling that adrenaline.
I mean, who thought Jacob Webb would be the most important bullpen pitcher?
Seventh, eighth inning guy, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be extremely important to win ball games away from Wrigley Field because the Milwaukee Brewers, their record on the road, it's better than it is at American Family. Bruce, you're always family.
Remember, it's not a Milwaukee South. It's they're Chicago North.
Okay, and when you're here, it's like Olive Garden, Bruce. You're a family.